Mr. Chapo.
News this hour, a Ghanaian teacher was seen beaten on the street, harassed on the street of Ghana. This has become a cause of concern.
Okay, I'm about the powerful studio. Hey, D4 TV. I did to be a theater move from I did to Prisian. I a good town. I brand tell Mutan enemy. Why I don't be here? I'm on it. I brand to be Aquadao, Prisia. When some BC Basa.
I see, David. All right, there on the soul.
Just watching some company. Tane Kasawai, what about you? What about this?
And with me to talk on this pressing matter is Ghana's finest activist, songwriter, and award-winning personality, Angel Maxine. Angel, welcome, welcome, welcome. How are you doing?
Doing well. I'm fine. Everything is fine. And how are you doing too?
I am fine. Here down at Curo Talk, we are doing amazing. We've just been into the business of, bringing out the latest news out of the community, speaking out for the community. And we have a couple of documentaries too we have been working on. And yeah, that's what we've been doing down here. How about you? How is Berlin?
Berlin is fine. Berlin is okay. Over the week, I would say I had so much attacks from Ghana, so much death threats and all that. So I was supposed to go back in Ghana, but I decided to extend my stay a little bit so that I feel much more safer here actually. So I just decided to extend my stay here a little bit so that I can see how the situation in Ghana will go before I return.
Oh, that's really, it's really sad and amazing at the same time. Why I say it's sad is because, like, I don't think anybody should be chased from their home. Everybody should have the right to live where they choose to live in. And again, you growing up in Ghana, Ghana must be home for you. Everything you built, your legacies in Ghana. Nobody should have the right to intimidate you as a Ghanaian. And that is what we are seeing from this video. What do you have to say about the teacher who was beaten? Does this have to do with the law that or the bill that is being passed in the parliament?
Yes, this is a typical example of what the bill says. The bill has given people the authority or say the chance or the right to harass any person, even queer or not, if they find you being an effeminate male or a masculine female, then automatically then they identify you as a queer person. So I'll say the stories that came behind this issue wasn't what was really out there. This was just a teacher who was going somewhere and lives in the community, and because he is effeminate, then he had become a target to this to the society in which he stays in. So they just saw him being effeminate and they attacked him, tried to harass him, open his bag, and they saw feminine women clothes in his bag. Then in clothes, they assumed that this person is a queer person, this person is a gay man. And they started beating him, harassing him, saying in the audio, they were saying that he has gone to sleep with somebody and he's now coming back. And as a matter of fact, that wasn't it. They tried to find something to back their claims, to back whatever they do, so that it will really fit in, for them to fit in the bill, because the bill says in the phrase in it says a duty to report. So it is your mother's duty, it is your father's duty, it's your brother's duty, it's your sister's duty, it's your uncle's duty, it's your family's duty to report you. So people have now the right to take the law into their hands and beat people, attack people who they assume are queer people. So this is how the whole incident was.
As an activist, how are you dealing with this situation?
So right now, as an activist, what I'm doing is to always put educational materials out there to create a lot of awareness for the queer community, for people, the queer community to know that it's very dangerous out there. If you are out there, you have to protect yourself. Don't go to places you are not supposed to go. This is a bill that seeks to erase all queer people. If you have to dress a certain way to fit in the society, do. Since you don't have the capacity to move out or you don't have the capacity to stand and fight these people. If you have to behave a certain way to fit in, do. Being a queer person is your identity. It's about you. It's about who you are. And we have to be mindful of saving our own lives and saving our own selves. And I've tried my possible best in any means that I can. I try to amplify my voice to spread the message out there that it is very dangerous for queer people in Ghana. Even if you are from outside Ghana and you are coming to Ghana, you should be aware of your surroundings. You should be aware of where you are going to, the people you meet, the kind of things you talk about, the conversations you have, and all that. You have to be aware. You have to always be conscious of yourself because people are not smiling. People are angry. People have been brainwashed with religion that queer people are the cause of hardship in Ghana because queer people live in Ghana. They are sinners in quotes. Queer people are the ones who are causing. I would say they'll say queer people are the ones who who have made things hard in Ghana. They don't like you, they hate you, they don't want you, and they believe in their pastors, they believe in their men of God. Anything their pastor says is what they believe in. Anything their religious leader says is what they believe in. So that is what is driving this anger, and this is what the people are using against queer people. So we just have to protect ourselves at all times, always be aware of ourselves and aware of our environment.
I love the fact that you say they believe in what their pastors tell them. Why are queer people not also involved in this ministry? If religion is one thing that is being used to weaponize queer people in Ghana, why are they not queer people in churches, in like Muslims, religious queer people? Are they just silent in the church and watching their pastors do all of this in Ghana?
You can't go and identify yourself as a queer person in church. You can't go and tell your pastor that you're a queer person because the next minute they are looking for what we call conversion therapy. They are looking for, they are going to get special prayers and fasting and this for you, which you know is not true. So people, you will become a target in the church. Nobody want to sit by you in the church. Like let's say they have some churches where can even ban you from going to church. And maybe this queer person is religious. This queer person has gone to this church from their childhood, or this is where they feel comfortable. This is where they see the hands of the Lord. And they have to hide. It's not the fault of the queer person to hide. If the queer person had the voice and could speak out and will be listened to and will be understood, I think queer people in religions will have come out openly to talk. But this is where the same religion in which you believe in believes you are evil, believes you are the cause of all the atrocities, believes that you are not a human being, believes that you are a demon, believes that you are possessed. And how can you openly go to the same church to go and tell them that this is Satan, this is my problem? I have heard stories, and I have even had conversations with queer people who have been used as as sermons in the churches, because this is where this is a pastor is where is somebody who the queer person can find solace in. And if the same pastor comes to the church and come and condemns you and say things bitterly, calls you in front of the church to disgrace you and humiliate you and say that you have to rebuke, we have to bring you, the spirit that possesses you have to be brought out in public and be rebuked. And we all queer people, we know it is not a spirit. We know you are not possessed. We know that this is how you were born. This is how you have felt. This is who you are. And nothing can change about it unless you are ready to pretend the rest of your life. So queer people can never, I would say, maybe it's just a few bold ones who can, say this is who I am and still stand firm and still be in church. Maybe your pastor will accept you being in a church. What of the congregations? What of the church members? The pastor is not ready to lose 100 or 200 people from his church because of you. So you will have to leave. We will make the place uncomfortable for you to leave so we can have our church. So I don't blame queer people in churches who are not being able to voice out because they have been silenced by the religion in which they believe in.
To be honest, I think the one thing you made, the one point that you made that's very important is that if you need to compromise for your safety, compromise for your safety. Just make sure that your safety comes first. Once you're able to leave that space. But my fear, to be honest, let me just be plain. My fear is that most African countries are all agitating for these anti-gay law bills. And before you know, we may not even have any place in Africa as queer people anymore. And we know that being queer is the most African thing ever. It's not a Western ideology brought to us.
No way.
Because of our silence, we've allowed some queer history. We even know that some Egyptian pharaohs used to have like female counterparts and male counterparts. If you also read in the scripture, I don't want to go deep into the Bible, but as a minister myself, if you also go into the scripture back in the Old Testament, before when they were building the temple, they used to be, the Bible talks about the male prostitutes that used to be in the Solomon temple. So we see that the queer people has existed before Sodom and Gomorrah, after Sodom and Gomorrah, even in the rebuilding of the temple of Jerusalem. But before we get back, this is breaking news Wahala, and I'm still here with Angel Maxine, and we'll just take a brief break and we'll be right back. Angel, welcome back.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So let's talk about your awards. We've talked about all the queer matters, but let's also look into the good part of being queer. What award did you win? Tell us about your award and your trip to Berlin.
Okay, so I was invited by the CSD Berlin to receive the Stone of Stonewall Award here in
Oh
Berlin,
my,
and it was in the category of International Grassroots Personality. Yes, and this was an award given to me for the activism I have done for the queer people, for Ghana, for Africa, and the diaspora. So this is recognition of the work I have done over the years. So this is this is why I came to Berlin and for this award.
it's so surprising that it has to be Berlin to recognize you for all the good things you've been doing from your music. We know you brought us one of the greatest music. If I say movie, you brought us one of the greatest Pride music that aired last year. I remember when I went to Pride and I was hearing your driver could be LG. I was like, this is Angel Maxine. Oh my god, oh my god. I was like, this is Angel Maxine. I was really like, it kind of made me feel included. It kind of made me
Yeah,
feel, oh yes, the work we do, it may not show today, but one day it will come to the surface of the earth. And it's
yeah.
amazing. It's amazing. Tell us also about your music career. Tell us about your latest and what you plan on doing musically.
Okay, so I have so many things installed, but the only problem that I have is it's quite difficult to get financial support for my music, and
So most of your music you sponsor,
everything that
it's just you sponsoring most.
everything that you have seen from my day one is sponsored by myself. I have
Wow.
sponsored everything from day one with no funding from anybody, with no donation from any organization or whatever. So it takes time for me to rebuild and come back again because all these things are very, very expensive,
How
but
much are we talking about?
it costs a lot. It costs a lot to even shoot a music video. It will cost It depends on what setting you want to have, but you can use about $20,000 to even shoot just a music video. It's a lot. So even you book your studio hourly, I can be in the studio the whole day. So just imagine if I'm paying about $100 an hour for a studio and I'm supposed to be there about 10 hours in the day to record, to mix, to master and all these things. And I don't do it once. I have to do it maybe every week. I go like twice or in a month, I go to the studio about 4, 5, 6 times and I have to fund all these things. It's not that easy. Yes, but I've been able to record a 10-track album, which I'm just hoping to get some fundings and maybe do, if I have some, capacity, maybe shoot one video for maybe one of the songs. Normally, I should be able to shoot about 5, 6 videos out there and all that, but I don't have the capacity to. But I'm hoping to release an album before the end of this year, maybe in December. Yes, and it's
That's
kind of
amazing.
slow, but it's a gradual process for me since I don't have any support from
At least you're
anywhere.
doing something. You're at
Yeah,
least you're doing something. So slow and steady, they say, win the race. My
exactly.
final question before we wrap up for this, about I also want to let you know that we here at Cure Talk, we are in full support with you. And I know that even Cure Talk itself, I am the one that I have to work to pay the bills. I have to do, make the sacrifice from my own pocket.
Exactly.
But like by God's grace, if God gives me something, I will love, because myself, I'm into gospel music, but I would love to hear more of your sounds. I think the one apart from your driver could be LGBTQ. The one of your songs I like is Ashawo. You be the
Yeah.
Ashawo, just confession.
Yeah.
I
Yes,
love
the
that song
oldest
because like
profession. Yes.
Yes, I listened to it. I was like, this is so catchy and this is so true because sometimes everybody try to be so spiritual, but even your pastor is an ashawo in his private. The question is, what type
Exactly.
of ashawo are you? Are you a public ashawo? Are
Exactly.
you a private ashawo? Everybody has the spirit of being sexual, and I think sexuality and being sexual should be something nobody should hide. Even the church encourages get married, get married. When you get married, what do you do in marriage?
You
You
have
become an
sex.
ashawo.
Yes, exactly. Yes, yes. And I
Yes.
this song I created this song I think in 2000 and 2008. That is when I wrote this song Ashawo. Yes, and it's now that I've been able to release it. I saw that people make it look as if sex work is one of the greatest thing on earth, and people make it look like being a sex worker and you are evil. But sex work is work. Everything that you do that brings you money is work. People should learn to sex workers have fixed people's homes. Sex workers have fixed people's marriages. Why can't we talk about the positive part of sex work? And we always want to lace it with negativity, always want to make it look as if um it is so evil that but everybody has sex. And whether you are being paid or whether you are not being paid, whether you're giving it for free, or whether you are doing it in exchange of something, it is work. So we should learn to appreciate people for who they are. Some people, it's not by their choice. Some people, it is not because they want to do it. It could be a situational problem. It could be something that led them to survive, and everybody has to survive. And if this is how you're going to survive and you're not hurting anybody, you're not killing anybody, then it should be respected. So that is the whole concept, trying to say that if you're a slave queen, you are an ashawo. If you sleep with somebody's husband or somebody's wife, you are an ashawo. Excuse me, some men will go to the gym to go and look good to enhance themselves to attract other women and other men. It is all the same business. So, like I'm looking at it in a more positive direction and not in the negative direction. Yes, I know sex work is illegal in Ghana and even in some parts of the world. But who are the patronizers of sex work? If
You
people
know,
don't patronize sex work, it won't exist.
true.
So why can't we respect
Most
it?
funny thing, sorry for cutting you short. The most funny thing
Yeah.
about you speaking about sex work being illegal is that the same politicians that criminalizes sex works are the same ones that still do patronize that shower.
Exactly. They are even the highest payers of the Ashawo. They are the ones who pay well. They are the ones who will leave their wives and still go around looking for other women to have sex with. Yet they are the same people who will come and condemn. Yet the sex worker will be caught and will be sent to jail, while the politician who patronize them sits comfortably in their office and they are happy. And for me, it feels like it's an injustice to the sex worker. So why can't we speak about sex work? There are sex workers who are going through a lot of distress. They're going through psychological traumas. There are some sex workers who are sick. People need to even to for you to go to the hospital to for medication or whatever, you are supposed to be able to open up, then the right medications can be open to given to you. But if sex work becomes a stigma on you, how can you really access the hospital freely? Doctors and nurses are there to tell you, to shame you for being a sex worker. Why should it be so? So it's a conversation that, as long as it exists, it's a conversation that has to be highlighted and talked about. So, and even in our queer community, there are sex workers. There are sex workers. and people patronize them, even though they feel that being a gay person and a sex worker is evil. Still, they have patronizers. So why can't we educate them to go for PrEP? Why can't we educate them to use condoms? Why can't we tell them to do regular counseling and testing? So that is, that is the whole concept about it. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Angel Maxine. There are more questions I would love to ask, but I think we should call it up for the day. We'll have Angel Maxine come back again on Q Talk. She's not new. Yeah. Thank you so much, Angel. And this has been Breaking News Wahala, a recap on the news. A Ghanaian teacher was beaten, harassed, and discriminated just for walking on the street of Ghana and being effeminate. Please take your safety seriously. We'll give you updates. We'll also make sure to bring more educational teaching on safety and what is happening in the African space around the LGBTQ community. And I remain your host, Chimereze Henry Ahonaya. Peace out.